Hey everybody, welcome to the another market breakdown with the tool. My name is Michael Hassan. So basically, what we're gonna go through today is we're gonna go through some form of the news, some news releases, and we're gonna go through the markets definitely. So the markets we're gonna break down today probably will be So we have Bitcoin. Let me just quickly open up the charts. See charts. Yeah, that's it. So we have the Bitcoin. Okay, we have Bitcoin. What we're gonna go through today. We have XRP, oil, silver, gold, AUD cat. So these are the things I have actually analyzed so far. AUD cat. Then there was use the CHF, and then that's it so far, I believe. Okay, this my last week's trades, Euro AUD as well. So if there's any other pair I feel like want to go through, this is what I'm going to do today as well. And of course, we're going to go through news releases, different news outlets, and we're going to watch what happened so far. All right, so thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in. I need you guys to subscribe. I need more subscribers. As you can see, there's not a lot. We need more subscribers. We need to make sure that everything we do is gonna be perfect. It's gonna be good. It's gonna help a lot of people. And it's not just about money. It's about so many other things. So if you have other things to talk about in regards to business, money, whatever, please leave a comment and we can talk about it and we can make it happen. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for coming through. Thank you so much for actually listening, and I hope you enjoy it. As you can see, I look fresh. I look fantastic today, okay, and I love my new look as well. And I was trying to go the Rastafarian way, but it didn't work out. And yeah, so let's start. So basically, what we have discussed, as you have realized, that Trump decided to send a massive bomb, a major bomb, okay, on Iran. As we can see, Trump floats regime change as in Iran promises response. Iran is like, hold on, what is happening? What is going on right here? Donald Trump, how dare you attacking us like this? Donald Trump, how dare you sending your bomb upon us just like that? Huh? We have to retaliate. The Arabic pride, Iranian pride, they have to retaliate. Of course, it's no more. That's politics. You know. Interestingly, I don't know why he did that. Of course, we're going to listen to some of his ideas and reasoning behind it. We have to find out. We have to make sure to understand what is really going on under what this is politics. That's why I like trading as well. Politics is interesting. And we have Israel-Iran latest. Iran top general says military entitled to retaliate following U.S. strikes. Okay, again, what we just discussed. And we're going to listen to Trump, definitely, what he has to say as well. So we don't know what is actually going on. We don't know. So after this, so what we read is that Iran's top military commander has said his forces are entitled to retaliate against U.S. interests after Washington struck the Islamic Republic, while signaling the main response may be direct at Israel. All right. So we can see there's definitely a massive conflict going on. That is definitely going to affect the market. This is what is happening to the market, and we need to make sure whatever we do is actually going to be worthwhile doing, and we need to be in the right mode of the market to have the right understanding of what's going on. So let's listen to Donald Trump and let's hear his reasoning, because I actually really don't know what's going on with this man. I like the guy. He's a bit crazy. And before politics, before he was like the president, I really liked him for the ideas he had in regards to real estate. He was a real estate tycoon, and he had a lot of TV shows. I don't know why so many people were drawn to him. Even before that, like when he was younger, a lot of people really liked Donald Trump. And this guy, for me, as much as I might not be agreeing with a lot of his politics, but his mindset regarding success and how to get things done and how to go from A to B, he keeps proving and proving to us that if you have the right mindset, the right strategy, you don't need to be smart, you don't need to be eloquent. All what you need to have is a lot of self-belief and a lot of right connections, and you'll be able to do the impossible. I would have never thought that one day a businessman, a business tycoon, a billionaire one day will become a politician, will become a president, which is unheard of. Normally it's supposed to be a politician becoming president, not a billionaire becoming a president. However, this is what it is, and that's why we don't see a lot of, he doesn't have any political references, he doesn't speak political, he doesn't speak like, the previous political parties. He really speaks what he knows, which is business. So this is his whole approach, and this is what we know about Donald Trump. So anyways, let's see what he did, and let's see the reasons behind his attacks.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier. For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel. They have been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs. That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate. In particular, so many were killed by their general, Qasem Soleimani. I decided a long time ago that I would not let this happen. It will not continue. I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before. And we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight, and all of the United States military on an operation the likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades. Hopefully, we will no longer need their services in this capacity. I hope that's so. I also want to congratulate the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Raisin Kane, spectacular general, and all of the brilliant military minds involved in this attack. With all of that being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes. There's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight, not even close. There has never been a military that could do what took place just a little while ago. Tomorrow, General Kane, Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth will have a press conference at 8 a.m. at the Pentagon. And I want to just thank everybody, and in particular, God. I want to just say, we love you, God, and we love our great military. Protect them. God bless the Middle East. God bless Israel, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So, okay, not sure what is going on here, but yeah. So
new grads have an employment problem. The unemployment rate's 12-month average for young college graduates. Those.
All right, so I don't know what this is right now, but So that's what we see. We see the attacks. We saw what is happening, what happened today, and we understand the reasons Donald Trump decided to attack Iran. I personally think, as we know, it's all politics. You know, I don't like the ideas of war in general. I personally think that war is something. It's just literally just man-made. No one really understands really ever why people actually really go to war. If you think about it, no one really understands. It's always the same reasons. It's either resources. That's actually it. It's always resources, money, women. So that's what I've seen based in history. This is the reason why people always go to war. There's no other. If you really analyze the fact that people go into war, there is the same reason. Always expansion of power, resources, or women somewhere. I don't know. These are the three reasons: either power, resources. So they always want to expand. They always want to, show the dominance. Oh, of course, I forgot also religious reasons. So these are the only reasons why people actually really go to war, which is not needed. There's no need for Netanyahu to attack Iran. There was no need. He's already very busy in Gaza, this trying to kill all the Gazans up, and he has also his ways to to excuse his behavior, but it's human life we're talking about, and that's just what I personally find despicable in terms of willingly trying to destroy human life for no particular reason. And they're saying they're under threat. They're saying that they are scared that Iran is going to send out like a nuclear bomb, and they have so many other reasons of why they feel they want to attack, which is not right. And I think we can, there's a lot of diplomacy what can be taken in order for us really to go from A to B to get things done, but they don't want to be diplomatic. They always want to use the guns for whatever reason. And yeah, the war industry making a lot of money definitely because of those attacks. And who's also making money? The higher ups, those who lead in the wars. Have you not noticed that every person who's a leader, like a president or whatever, they're always starting the war. They always have reasons for war, but they never actually are involved in the war, pulling the trigger, trying to kill other people. It's always the minions. It's always other people who has to do the dirty work for them. And at the end of the day, the hands stay clean. They never come out from a perspective with PTSD. They never come out from a place of, okay, you know what, we did the war and now I'm feeling so ashamed and I wish I would have never done this, and etc. because they are involved in war and realize the atrocities of war and how it's actually affecting their mental health. All this stuff is not happening. This is what they never do. And so I don't really know why they're doing it, but it is what it is. So this is what we know so far. Why Donald Trump decided to attack Israel. Okay, and I want to watch this here real quick. I think that video is also another 5 minutes, and I just want to know what it is because it seems very interesting, because the employment rates has something to do with what we need to know in regards to the financial market. So let's have a look real quick. And then,
Grads have an employment problem. The unemployment rate's 12-month average for young college graduates, those between the ages of 20 and 24 with a bachelor's degree, was 6.6% in May, compared to the national average of roughly 4%. So if the labor market is holding steady, why are new grads getting disproportionately affected, and how can they find opportunities to succeed? Corey Katenga, LinkedIn's head of economics for the Americas, is here to discuss. So Corey, we just talked about some tough labor market stats there for younger workers. What's driving these challenges?
Well, right now, what's really driving the challenge for entry-level workers, for young workers who've recently had a degree, it's the industries that we are seeing that have momentum and don't have momentum. In the latest jobs report, we saw that pretty much all of the jobs were added by healthcare and leisure and hospitality. And there are some areas that are really fruitful for new grads, but they haven't been doing well, like technology, information and media, financial services. So we have started to see those particular industries in LinkedIn data level out. Hiring is steady. It's not getting better. It's not getting worse, but it's still well below what we saw prior to the pandemic. So those key industries like finance, tech, professional services, so consulting, legal, accounting, that hire a lot of new grads, they are not hiring that much right now.
So, with companies like Amazon cutting roles due to artificial intelligence, how is AI reshaping job opportunities, especially for some of those new graduates?
Well, at the moment, we're not seeing wide scale evidence that AI is reshaping opportunities in terms of job loss. What we are seeing is that employers are demanding AI as a skill for new workers, increasingly so. So, in our list of skills on the rise, we see that AI is one of the top skills. List of jobs that for recent grads that are the fastest growing, it's AI engineer. So, companies are really gorging on AI talent right now. So, if you are able to interact with AI, be able to evaluate the outputs, or if you're one of those folks who builds and maintain those tools, you definitely have an edge in the labor market today.
So, you talked about some of the sectors that are not hiring as much. What about those industries that are currently showing some stronger hiring growth for young professionals?
Education being chief among them. Since about the start of the pandemic, March 2020, we've seen that education has had the most momentum for hiring entry-level workers. Behind that, healthcare and hospitals, another area that's very fruitful. We've seen that our demographics are starting to change. We're aging as a population, so demand for healthcare services is only going to increase. We did see out of the pandemic a surge in demand for those services that since cooled off a bit, along with the broader labor market, but that area just still has a lot of green space.
Yeah, we consistently see healthcare as a top performing sector in that monthly jobs report. But what about cities or states that are emerging as hotspots for new grads?
Well, it's the areas that are actually hot. It's the Sun Belt. So Tucson, for example, is an area where we've seen some of the most growth for recent grads. We release LinkedIn's workforce report every month to monitor what's happening in the US labor market, and it's always Miami that is well above pre-pandemic levels of hiring. So it's really those Sun Belt states and those cities that have had a lot of momentum. So Texas and Florida, Arizona. So those are really the areas that have been very fruitful for recent grads in recent years.
And why is that? Is it just because there is more demand for younger workers there? Is it the types of jobs that they provide?
It's a combination of things. One aspect is the jobs that are actually available right now. There's been a lot of momentum in construction, for example, and that's our top industry that we see in LinkedIn's graduates guide. It's really been construction over the last few years. It's had a lot of momentum, in part because we've had big investments from the Inflation Reduction Act. We also have recovery that was happening because construction had a really dismal 2022, and then there's also the aspect that people are not selling their homes right now because interest rates are high. So housing starts has also supported some building for construction as well. So it's really the industry dynamics that are shaping the labor market for recent grads.
Yeah, interesting, since we have seen that struggling housing market. But what key advice would you give young job seekers really navigating a challenged market right now?
First of all, know where the opportunities are. Which industries have momentum? Which are losing momentum? Where are the areas where people have found success recently? And are the conditions under which they found that success going to continue? So, for example, if you're looking at an industry that's been supported by a lot of government funding, is that funding running out? Are they likely to continue on? So just being able to have that research background and know where's there likely to continue to be momentum, I think that's key. Another aspect is knowing what skills are in demand for employers. How do you feature those and communicate those? So we know that AI employers are a lot of employers don't know what their AI strategy is, but they want to bring in people who do know how to interact and use AI. So being able to showcase that you have that skill, that you can interact with AI, that you can evaluate the outputs of it. That's increasingly important for new grads to demonstrate. And in that respect, they probably have an advantage over a lot of folks in the labor market.
All right, Corey, great advice there. Thanks so much.
All right, fantastic. So why is that important for us? Because the job market determines, the economic growth of the US especially, and we have seen some few things for those who are young and want to know what to do in regards to job market. It's not just only in the USA, but we have the same problem happening in the UK. And so basically they said the healthcare industry is looking for AI, and basically what I would suggest is the healthcare is growing, okay, and AI is growing. So as you're a young man trying to learn as much skills you have, and you decide what you want to do with your life. Ultimately, the most performing, or what made America great, or what made Britain great, was definitely small and medium-sized businesses. There was a lot of access to small and medium-sized businesses who were looking for people, and that means it's this rise of entrepreneurship, and there's also a rise of men and women getting older, taking on their pensions, and etc etc. So there will be a lot of space happening, and that's now a good time for you guys to learn either AI or starting a business or to become entrepreneur in that area. And the other area what they mentioned was construction. Construction is also growing. Why? Because there's a housing crisis, not just in the US it seems, but it's also in the UK. And all this news will also affect our decision making in regards to the trades and what we trade and how we trade as well. So okay, so now let's go and check real quick the charts, what we see, and then we're gonna continue. So right now we are on Euro AUD. So what is happening? So let's go quickly to DXY. So now we can see DXY. This is what I've I think charted out last week. This was my predictions, where I'm expecting the market potential to go. Okay, so I had two ideas. Number one idea was, let's go. Bam. Number one idea was, I think, where was we last week? So we checked Monday. We were Monday here. So I understood that it will go to the upside. So I have like a support level in this area, and what I'm expecting was either to go to 78.6 level and then keep dropping. All right, bum, or that's it, or somewhere at the 50, or somewhere in this region. Okay, why? Because we know that the the US economy so far is not as great as possible. However, I'm also still expecting at this area to receive a rejection candle to go down to the downside, not because I don't want America to grow or to prosper, just because there is this thing happening with Donald Trump where he sent out a bomb to Iran. That means there's a possible that US will get itself involved in the war, and what it means, money is going to be spending, and that means it is not a good sign for the economy to thrive. And that means as well, like, the US president Donald Trump will not have so much time to make sure that the economy is growing according to his standards. He has like a group of people in place. He has a strong team in place who are working on the finances of the economy. But war means money spending, and it is not good, and that means a lot of fear, and it also means that a lot of investors will take the money out, because it just shows a lot of uncertainties just because of this particular attack on Iran. That will definitely affect the market. So right now, even though I'm waiting for break or retest, so what I'm looking for is, I'm waiting for break and a retest of structure, and once I see the retest of structure, I will personally go long. However, my bias of what I believe what may happen is that it's gonna go to the downside. That's what I'm thinking. Am I right? We don't know yet. Yeah, so that's why I have this particular style in place, this trading style in place, knowing what I want from the market, and just waiting to see if this is going to play out. If it's playing out exactly the way I want to play out, I will go long or I will go short, depending on what is going to happen. Okay, so now let's go check out the Bitcoin. So as we are on Bitcoin, we can see, like I said previously, basically there was a pre-high. The pre-high was 109,000, yeah, and then basically went all the way up, broke through, came down, retested, and it seems it's going to go to the downside and continuously going down. However, we're right now at the neckline and we don't know what is going to happen. So in order for me to really confirming, okay, a down movement of that particular trend, we want to see a break of structure. And so literally we now at the retest, we want to see like an engulfing candle, we want to see something, an engulfing candle, or we want to see some sort of an entry opportunity, and then we're just gonna go short. Yeah, so we're just waiting for an opportunity, really. If you want, you have two options. Option one, we can wait till it literally breaks this area. Wait here, boom, break this area, and then you're gonna go to the downside, or yeah, that's it. Or you wait for a break and a retest of that structure area, and then you're gonna go short. So, or you wait for a break of structure area here, boom. You wait for a break, boom. Hold on, 1 second. So, boom. So you wait for a break, bam, comes here, bam, and then goes all the way down. Yeah, okay, that's what we're waiting for. That's a good opportunity. It's more of a passive approach, indicating that it's willing to go to the downside. I'm already thinking it's going to go short, but because of Bitcoin is so volatile and there's so much emotions in the market. Remember, this is led mainly by retail traders, and retail traders are very emotional and radical, and we don't know what is going to happen. And are also not really quite sure how this actually affecting the war, and if the war gonna make sure that the Bitcoin is gonna go to the upside. Because like I said the last time, it seems like that Bitcoin has become a safe haven. I'm not sure if that is the truth, but it seems like that a lot of investors putting the money into Bitcoin the moment they hear war is coming on, or the economy is not doing well, or it's not doing great. It's the same idea. So as we are yeah, that's also XRP, that's the same idea as well. You know, I was expecting to go short. I still believe it's gonna go short, so I was able to catch like 5% on that one. And my initial target was this area, okay. And then when I saw it wasn't really playing out the way I wanted to play out, I was able to take something out, which is at this area. Hold on, at this level, yeah, at this level here. So in total it will be what is it, 4.775%. Was a good trade, was a good idea. And yeah, so we don't know what is actually happening right now, so we check in, we hoping that things are going to play out. Like I said, guys, I don't know what the Bitcoin market is. Safe haven, it's not safe haven, I'm not sure. So we just gonna wait and see what will be like a good entry point for me to go long with the Bitcoin. Will be waiting for a break of structure, indicating it's ready to go to the upside. Will be at this area. So what we have to see from the conservative standpoint, right, would be literally a break, retest, and then go to the upside. If that is not enough for you, another opportunity I see in regards to going long, if you are feeling you want to go long, would be literally a retest of structure. Is a retest of structure, maybe this area, okay, a retest to that area, and then seeing waiting for a buy opportunity here, okay, bam, and then go to the upside. That is another opportunity we can take. And if that's not actually happening, then we have yeah, then we're just gonna keep going, right? Or we break here, wait for a break in this area, and then like I said, we're gonna continue the move to the downside. Okay, it will be literally bam here, and then we go to the downside. All right, so again, these are the opportunities I'm giving you. Now my bias on thinking is very interesting, which is crude oil. We on crude oil is also a major part of why people fighting and having a lot of war over, especially Iran is also one of the highest producers of oil. I used to say the third largest producer, but I was misinformed, so I apologize for that. Now, I think the 7th largest or 6th largest, whatever, producers of crude oil as well. And yeah, so like I said, there's a lot of fear in regard to the production, and there's a lot of fear in regards to the shipping. So now that they're involved in the war, so we now know that crude oil is going to be more expensive. And yeah, so we can see the price went down. It's a retest as a correcting itself. We are right now in major areas. We're definitely bullish on oil. We see there was a massive drop. Okay, I'm not quite sure why. I need to go and find it in the fundamentals, but it was a break. Yeah, went all the way up to 77 point whatever level, 818 level, went down, and then I'm hoping at this area at the 73.05 to retest to go to the upside. That is my bias for the week to buy in oil due to the war, and so that will be like a long position we will take from here. Maybe last area of structure is here, and yeah, and then go to the long. That's definitely an opportunity there. Yeah, that's it. So, and as well, silver is also performing very well, very strong. Again, a lot of uncertainty in the market, so I decided to go long with silver, and we have an opportunity also to go long with gold. Okay, for those who want to find an opportunity to trade gold, we wait for a closure, waiting for an opportunity. Maybe there's no opportunity coming, so two potential areas where you potentially can go long with gold would be here. Yeah, this is the 3,364 level. Okay, at this level, that's number one opportunity, and number two opportunity to potentially go long with gold would be the 3,379 level. Okay, these are good levels. If you see a break and retest, or if you see an entry confirmation at this level, you're just gonna keep going buying to the upside. If not, we're gonna go to the downside. Okay, now what is happening because of war, and what is trying to take place with the job market, going down in the US, I do believe that gold is gonna go to the upside. Okay, in the long run. Now, things can happen. We don't know what happens. So I also decided to analyze AUD CAT. So I have two analyses. Yesterday night, there was Sunday night, there was midnight. The candle was all the way at 88.583 level. And again, I had two objections because we are in the daily area of resistance. Okay, we're in the daily area. And since we're in the daily area, we don't know what we want to do. So I was expecting to see a buy, yeah, at this place, but it broke the previous structure, it broke it, and now has retested, and what we're going to expect is a sell. So it looks like a very good sell opportunity. I would sell at this area. Boom, there's a sell opportunity right there, and my target probably will be weekly level or daily level. Yeah, so I'm hoping to break again structure and then go all the way to downside. And the best trade, to be fair, to be sure, that's really a good trade to take, would be where I've actually placed my alert down there, and it will be able to see to see a break of structure, right? It will be breaking here, and then we enter here, because then it really indicates that we're really on a bearish momentum. Okay, right now this is more like of a gambling move, so to say. Not really gambling, but it's just more of, you have to trust your biases, you trust your analysis. What can happen is that this market especially can literally go down, come here to this resistance area, and then really shoot up. Okay, we don't know what is happening. So yeah, once you get here, caution, and yeah, either take the money or keep holding it. That depends on you. Now, with USD CHF, I was thinking to see for a break of structure. Didn't happen, went opposite direction. So that trade is what we missed, definitely. And yeah, that's where we are right now with the markets. And the last but not least, I'm going to listen to Bloomberg and see what is happening. I saw something. What is the overall idea in regards to the market? And we discuss it. And I hope you guys will like it.
Insight from this exciting region. Now weekdays, only on Bloomberg.
Bringing you up-to-the-minute tech news whenever and wherever it happens. I'm Ed Ludlow in Las Vegas, and this is Bloomberg.
We've long had concerns about the Iranian nuclear program, and been very clear that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. The US has now taken action to alleviate that threat. It is important that we now de-escalate the situation, stabilize the region, and get the parties back around the table to negotiate.
UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer there in response to the strikes from the United States into Iran over the weekend. Our next guest was the UK's ambassador to Iran from 2017 to 2018. He's also the Director General of the Middle East Association. Nicholas Hopton joins the program this morning. Nicholas, a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for your time this morning. We just heard a little soundbite there from the Prime Minister himself talking about the need to de-escalate. Nicholas, what does de-escalating look like from here?
At this particular moment, after the American attacks on Saturday night, I think Iran is facing a very difficult choice. The ball is very much in their court. The exchange of attacks continues with Israel, but Iran has to decide at this point whether it wants to escalate or capitulate. And if it escalates, that might look like the closure of the Straits of Hormuz, which the Iranian parliament has already voted in favor of. It still needs signing off by the Iranian National Security Council, but they've taken steps in that direction. It might involve military attacks on US assets, interests, people in the region. And it may well also involve using their proxies, which are much weakened, of course, following Israel's decapitation of Hezbollah in particular last year. But Iran still has cards to play, which are of various types, and economic, military, or even terrorists through their proxies.
Well, Nicholas, you've served as I mentioned, an ambassador to Iran from the UK, and we know these are two countries that have had a tenuous history, to say the least. What is the role of the UK in terms of any potential retaliation that may be coming down the pike from Iran or additional strikes from the United States? How involved should the UK be?
Iran and the UK have a long history, and there is a complex relationship between the two countries. But it is based on a degree of knowledge of each other over well over 200 years now. That's not the case for all the countries involved in this conflict. I think you will have seen what the Prime Minister said about the need now for de-escalation and diplomacy, and at the same time, the UK is moving some military assets to the region, ships, planes, to defend our interests and our people in the region in case it went the wrong way. But I think the UK's role is essentially about being part of that effort to push for further diplomatic negotiations, providing an off-ramp from the conflict for both sides. And
he's talking about diplomacy. Keir Starmer was talking about diplomacy, but sending out ships and troops. What a diplomacy.
I would hope that we can avoid being directly drawn into the conflict, which it seems to me unlikely to produce the objectives in our national interest.
Yeah, so Nicholas, you say we should focus as the UK on the diplomacy. I was listening yesterday to an interview with the Iranian ambassador to the UK. It was on the BBC, and he was saying, Iran has no intention of cultivating nuclear weapons. All countries have problems. We just need to look past Iran's human rights record. Clearly, this is the sort of talk that Donald Trump was tired of dealing with. As a UK diplomat, how would you deal with the Iranians if that's the stance that they're taking?
Well, I think we are used to Iranian regime rhetoric which doesn't correspond to reality and misrepresents the situation. Iran obviously enriched uranium to a level way beyond what would be needed for normal civilian purposes. At the same time, I note reports from American intelligence and including from the IAEA, which don't necessarily point to Iran having wanted to have a nuclear weapon anytime soon, although it was in a position to move in that direction should it want. I think one has to aim off with a lot of this rhetoric coming out of Tehran. They have a reputation as a nation for being very resilient. They've put up with a lot of sanctions and isolation since 1979 and the revolution. they will no doubt be preparing for the same again. And the regime itself, its main objective is to survive at this point. And the pressures on it are both external and internal. There are internal pressures also on the regime, either to evolve or to disappear.
Yeah. So in the name of survival, you have the Iranian foreign minister in Moscow today meeting Vladimir Putin. I wonder what you expect to be the level of support offered by Russia or indeed China to Iran at this point.
Well, it's been very striking in the last week how little support from its supposed allies Iran seems to have received, in particular from Russia. I think Vladimir Putin meeting Abbas Araghchi in Moscow is more a political gesture rather than any concrete military support, for example. And the Chinese may be slightly different because, of course, China has very strong interests in keeping the Straits of Hormuz open, because a lot of its oil, it takes a lot of Iranian oil, and that is exported to China through the Straits of Hormuz. So the conversations, I imagine, happening between the Chinese and Iranians at this point probably are slightly different from those happening between Russia and Iran.
Just imagine, like, China gets involved in that war. Whew, that would be crazy as well. Or Russia. Let's see. We have seen some few threats or some few statements from Putin, apparently saying that he doesn't want the Americans to attack, Iran, and he will be behind Iran, and we have seen it with as well with Pakistan as well. So there are certain countries that will be willing, possibly, to get themselves involved. Let's see if China is also part of the countries, and so let's see.
Nicholas, good morning. It's Guy. Should regime change be an objective of the United States at this point? And if it is, what are the risks?
I think if one looks at the West's record of pushing for regime change in the Middle East over the last quarter of a century, it might suggest that we would be better to step back from that kind of objective. It hasn't been a great success in Iraq or Libya, for example. And generally, my view, at least, is that if countries are going to change their governance, who leads them, it's better that it comes from within, from the people of that country themselves, rather than it's imposed from outside. And often people in foreign powers, such as the United States or sometimes the United Kingdom or France, maybe we underestimate occasionally how difficult it is actually to achieve a better regime in a country that may appear despotic or hostile to our interests.
Has Israel changed the narrative sufficiently by turning attention to Iran that it has distracted from Gaza? And is there a danger that we lose sight of what is happening there?
Undoubtedly. I don't know whether this was a deliberate ploy by Prime Minister Netanyahu, but if it was, it seems to have worked. One isn't hearing with the same intensity of media focus what is going on in Gaza at the moment, because the focus is all on Iran and Israel and the United States. But that doesn't distract from the reality that the situation in Gaza remains utterly appalling. The situation for the Palestinians, civilians on the ground in Gaza is horrific, and people are being killed. Civilians are being killed, including when they seem to be queuing for humanitarian aid.
On that note, we will leave it. Nicholas, thank you very much indeed for your analysis this morning. We greatly appreciate it. Nicholas Hopton, Director General of the Middle East Association and former British Ambassador.
Thank you. So yeah, man. So like I said, the world is all going upside down. Netanyahu is the idiot. Is the person who's involved in all this stuff. Like, he is the one who pulling the strings. Like, he's very like a fantastic chess player. And yeah, man, all the attention went away from Gaza to Iran. Look how smart it was. And it's taken away all accountability from him. And, there's just so much going on that, the West now cannot really focus on trying to help the Gazans or trying to stop Netanyahu from actually continuing bombing or letting the people in Gaza starve or go through some certain things. Now they have to focus on the war, which has to focus on its national interest, which is much more important than actually trying to help another people group which are not their own people. So it is a very fantastic chess play which Netanyahu did. It's very appalling. I hope they will stop this war, but it is politics. There's nothing we can do about it. So guys, get ready and don't be too oblivious. I hope you liked my channel for today and keep subscribing. And yeah, man, if you have any questions, guys, let me know. If I can support you guys, don't bring me too many politics questions because I'm not that good in politics, but I will try my best in regards to the trading and to the how do you call it, to the to the market analysis. So over and out, subscribe, okay, and share it. We need to get those views up, we need to get it up, so I need your help. Thank you. Over and out.